Hello everyone, this is Jeremy McLerran, Director of Marketing for Qolsys. Very excited to have everyone on today and to start our webinar featuring both Yale and Rapid Response and then also our longtime friend, Alarm.com. We're going to get started here in just a moment. Before we do so, I want to make sure that everybody on the line today can hear us okay, make sure that you can see my screen okay, make sure that everything is working the way it should. Because this is a webinar and because we have so many people on, you won't have the opportunity to actually voice your questions because we got everyone on mute. It'd just be too loud otherwise. But you will have an opportunity to ask questions using the GoToWebinar control panel on your screen. There should be a section there called Chat or Questions. If you'll go in there right now and type something out to us, find that little section. You know, tell us where you're from. We'd love to know. You know, where you're at and what you're doing today. You know, give us your name if you'd like. We can see, of course, all your names in the lobby as well. But we just want to make sure that that works okay and that we can get everything going through. And as you're doing that, also point out a couple other housekeeping things. Everyone always asks if we can send them the presentation afterwards. We record all of these webinars. Whitney will start recording it if she hasn't already, and we'll be posting this on our YouTube channel later on today. So you'll be able to have access to the actual presentation, the questions that were asked, the answers we gave, all the above. So we're very excited to be able to provide that service to you and make sure that you can get that. Whitney, questions coming in okay? Can you see everyone's, can everyone see our screen? No problems there?
We're good to go.
Okay. Excellent, excellent. All right. Well, I would say let's go ahead and get started. I'd like to first start out by introducing our guests. First, we have Carmen Smith, Director of Partner Marketing over at Alarm.com. Carmen, how's it going today?
It's going well. I'm happy to be here.
I'm glad. Well, we're excited to have you on the webinar today. You're flying solo, or did you bring anybody with you today?
I'm on my own today, so take it easy on me.
Excellent, excellent. We'll make sure everything's good. We also have Spencer Moore, VP of Sales and Marketing at Rapid Response. Spencer, welcome to your first Qolsys webinar.
Good afternoon. Thank you. I'm excited to be here and excited to hopefully see many of the attendees at ESX this week.
Yeah, I hope we get a good showing. I just landed in Texas just an hour ago, so I'm now at my hotel, and we'll be headed over to the convention center shortly to help get things prepared. But if you're not going to ESX this week, you're going to miss out on a pretty good show. We've got a lot of fun things planned. And then finally, Patrick, welcome. You're with Yale, and this is you've attended our webinars before. This is your first time being one of our panelists, so welcome, welcome.
Hey, thank you so much. Great to be here, and great to be with our partners at Qolsys and Alarm.com, and of course, Rapid Response. Thanks for having us.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you for being here. So guys, obviously we want to make this nice and loose. We want to make this easy for you. We want you guys to be able to ask questions, interact with us. Whitney White, who's also on the line today, will be kind of moderating your questions. As you type those in, she'll be giving responses right back to you. If it's something relevant for the group or a question that is pertinent to our discussion day, she's going to pause us where we're at and jump us right in there to make sure that we can address it right there in line. So, Whitney, any questions or comments right off the bat that we should start out with, or should we dive right in?
No, I think we're good to go.
All right. Well, let's jump right in. The very first thing we want to do is, first off, congratulate Alarm.com. So, Carmen, you guys won the ESX Innovation Award for your customer connections. Is that right?
Yep, absolutely. Very exciting.
Yeah, I don't know if everyone knows what Customer Connections is. Would you mind if we gave you control and you could give us a demo of it and show us what all the hullabaloo is about?
Sure, absolutely.
Awesome. I'm going to switch this over and give you control. Carmen, all right, make you the presenter. Okay, there you go.
All right, you see my screen okay?
I sure am.
All right. So we are inside the Alarm.com dealer website here, so all of our dealer partners have access to this site. I'm in the portion that's all about sales and marketing, and you can see here we have Customer Connection. So this is the program that we won the ESX award for. This is a program that allows you to better connect, engage, and upsell your current customers. So what it does is really drives more revenue and a longer life cycle out of existing customers. It's a pretty robust program. There's a lot in here, so I'm not going to walk through every single one, but just to give you an idea of what's in here. So what we do is we message the customers in a couple different levels, and you can see there's sections in here, and these for each of the campaigns, so communications campaigns. Engagement, so that means getting current customers using their system, because we all know that the best customers are the ones that are using their systems, of course. They're going to be the most able to upgrade and to re-sign their next contract. Allowing our dealers to get referrals, of course. The best kind of lead is a referral from an existing customer. Upselling those happy customers. And then also we offer a program for 2G upgrades. So this is all automatic communications sent to your customers. Dealers just opt in. It's completely free, and it looks like it's coming from the dealer partner. So they see the dealer branding, contact information, all of that stuff. So it's like having a full-on marketing department for free, and all you got to do is click a button.
So I'm going to play dumb a little bit here, because I know there's some people who this is the first time they've ever seen this. So are these emails sent out? Is it messages that pop up in the app when you're using it? How are customers going to see this stuff?
So there's a couple of different ways. So if we look in here a little closer, this happens to be a screenshot of our engagement campaign. So it is primarily email campaigns. For example, this is a welcome series, so we welcome a new customer with 3 emails to kind of get them started and getting them addicted to their system. But we also do stuff like send a welcome message to the panel, so we can do this. And then there's lots of other ways. And you mentioned the app, that's something that we're working on for future development, and inside the customer website too, so that they can refer their friends and notify their dealers they're interested in an upgrade as well from the website or from the app.
So how does someone know? So if I'm a customer and I got an email, let's say about a referral, and I decide to refer someone, how does my dealer know that I referred them and do it? Is there then an email sent to the dealer?
Yeah, so everything that we do works on a dealer notification email system. So whether it's an upsell or whether it's a referral, the recipient of the email would fill out a very short form, and then that form would get emailed to the dealer. So the dealer would be notified, your customer, this is maybe a customer that's interested in adding a thermostat, for example. All of those notifications would come directly to the dealer via email. Yep.
Okay, excellent. So then the dealer can then take appropriate action. So if they had an incentive in place, for example, for referrals, they would see that referral came through and then could say, okay, well, I'm going to turn around and go to my existing customer and, and grant them that referral bonus or whatever it is, right?
So referrals work a little bit different, and we are currently building the ability to add these types of promotions that you just mentioned. So we don't currently have any promotional offers. All of our email campaigns are strictly informational with no dollars, which is kind of amazing because we are getting very high click-through rates and very high engagement, even though there's no dollars or pricing associated with it. But we are currently building the ability to offer things like referral bonuses or special promotions for things like that. So that's something that's in development. Right now, it's strictly look at all the great things that we offer.
That's great news. I mean, to be honest, and for all you dealers who are on the line today, it's awesome to be able to offer some kind of referral to do that. But really, the reason you want people to be referred is because of the service itself, because of how great the service is. And if Alarm.com is able to generate an email for you with your logo, making it look like you, sending it out to your customers saying, hey, refer a friend because of the great connection you're going to get, because of how easy the app is to use, because, and it's based on the features and benefits of the system, then the referrals you're going to get are going to be stronger, they're going to be more effective. And if there is some kind of bonus or something like that, you can certainly do that separately and in addition to it. But the customers aren't doing it based on the desire to get that free month of service or whatever it is. They're doing it based on the fact that they want their friends and family to have these great services that you provide. So I really like that approach. I think that I'm curious from our participants today, do any of you guys use this service now? And what's been your experience with it? Tell Whitney what it's like, and she'll share that on the line today. We'd love to hear your comments and whether or not you found that to be effective, or if you've had any problems with it, or any suggestions for Carmen. We'd love to get those over to her as well.
Hey, Jeremy.
Absolutely.
So Carmen, how often do these go? How often are customers gonna see? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Whitney. Yeah.
I think your audio is cutting in and out a little bit right now.
Okay. Sorry about that.
You can try.
Maybe I should speak more slowly.
Yep. So you're saying how often do they go out? We are sending out thousands of emails every day, because all of these emails are intelligently driven based on when the customer was created and whether they're using their services or not, and what services they're using. So it's a very complicated system that takes into account whether this is a new customer, how engaged are they, do we need to send, and what devices do they have. So for example, first 2 weeks of a new customer, everybody's going to get a welcome series. Then we're going to start looking whether they're using their system. We need to send them some emails to get them to re-engage. Or if they are using their system, then we're going to send them some emails to get them to upsell. So it's a very complex system that's really based on the actions of the customer. So that's one of the things that makes it quite effective.
Excellent. How customizable are these emails? Is it just simply logo or colors, or can they change up text at all, or are there choices within there?
Yeah, so there are some choices. So mostly it is logo, color, and contact information. And there are some opportunities. Of course, we do not upsell your customers on anything that you don't offer. So you go in and check, these are the products and services that you offer, and those are the items that we upsell or that we talk about during the regular quarterly e-newsletters, those types of things. So we don't ever send out upsell or push information on products that the dealer doesn't offer. When it comes to 2G, there is an option. So we are, of course, helping our dealers upgrade their systems out of 2G. We do offer there whether the dealer wants to offer the 2G upgrade for free or whether they're going to charge for it, which of course we don't say in the email, but if it is going to be for free, we do adjust the email to say that of course it's free. And of course those get very high click-through, of course.
Okay. Well, this is very cool. Whitney, any questions about customer connections that we could pose?
A comment from Ted. He says, we're using the Alarm.com customer connections, and we've added 1,000+ customers that do not have Alarm.com, and it has become an awesome upsell tool, and it's free.
Yep,
Nice.
Awesome. Great to hear.
Thank you. Yeah, great comment there. All right. Well, Carmen, thank you very much for sharing that with us. For those please go ahead.
Okay, it looks like they're scheduled from start to service. Can a dealer create a campaign to send on a specific date, for instance, to follow a special holiday?
We don't currently offer that, so we do our own quarterly e-newsletters, of course, are very specific, so they're all created fresh every quarter, and those will be relevant to, for example, whether it's back to school season or Christmas season, those types of things. So we do develop that kind of messaging as part of the quarterly newsletter.
Perfect. I don't think we have any other questions.
All right. Well, I'm going to take control back here and going to show my screen, and we're going to dive into some of the Yale product. Carmen, thanks very much. And Whitney, if there's other questions that pop up for Carmen, let's make sure we can address those quickly. Let's talk about Yale for a second. So, Patrick, how long have you been with Yale? Actually, I'm curious to know a little bit about your history and how you came to learn, how you came to work for Yale.
Yeah, Jeremy, thanks so much. So I've been with Yale now just inside a year, but certainly not new to the locking industry or the security industry. So I was an integrator for 20+ years prior to moving the manufacturing side of the business. Actually spent a little bit of time with some of our competitors, but really made a decision to move over to Yale based on the organization, the product, where we are, where are we going, and again, just the overall quality of the product. And I certainly haven't looked back. It's been very positive.
Excellent. I know I personally have a B1L deadbolt. I love Yale locks. I've got, this is actually a picture of my front door here. And you guys, in the past, I guess it's been a year now, maybe a little more, the B1L, the T1L deadbolts have been out now. Why have those locks become so popular? What's been the big driver behind the success there?
Yeah, great question. So, hey, aside from the fact that I think they look great, right? We really listened to what our customers had to say, and so a couple of things. One, although we do have locks that certainly still have keyways, and we're happy to offer those, we have found that electronic locks in general change people's behavior. They really stop carrying keys. They put the keys aside. They may lose, the whereabouts of the keys over time. And we said, we see a smart opportunity there. And so we said, let's remove the keyway. I think it creates a very sleek and nice design, but let's remove the keyway. It creates a very secure lock in that it can't be bumped or picked or defeated with perhaps a pressure tool. Right, and we said, but let's also look at this as an opportunity maybe to reduce a little bit of cost and even get more aggressive with the quality product that people can include in their offerings.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. I haven't carried a house key in years, and to be honest, I certainly don't miss it. I know my kids and my wife don't miss it. Literally, my wife will go out for a jog, and when she comes back, just type in the code and she can get inside the house. It's almost like being able to have access control in a residential situation. Obviously, in a commercial situation where you've got key cards and things like that, you've got to have some special ways of doing it. But this is like access control for your home. In our house, we've got a code set up for my wife, my child, two of our 4 children. I've got them set up for Grammy and Grandpa and for my wife's mother. We've got it set up for the neighbor. Anybody who's going to come inside my house at any time, I have no problem giving them a code. And with Alarm.com, I can actually limit the hours that they can access that door lock. So I can say, hey, you know what? The kids can have access to the door lock at any time of day. However, Grammy and Grandpa only get access, between the hours of, 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Or if we have like a painter or something come into the house, I could say, hey, he only gets it on Tuesdays from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. because that's when he's coming in and doing his work, whatever it is. But it allows me to really kind of create my own personalized access control for my home. The other thing I love is the ability to lock and unlock automatically. I've got a rule set so that when I arm my system, as I drive away from my house, if my door wasn't locked already, it gets automatically locked for me. I never have to worry about my house being unlocked when I'm not home. It always gets locked. And if I drive away from my house without arming my system, I get a reminder telling me, hey, you forgot to arm your system. And when I do so, again, it locks the door if it wasn't already. Same thing happens at night. If I go to bed at night and I arm my system in stay mode and we go to bed, I don't have to worry about my locks being unlocked. And with 4 kids coming and going all day, inevitably one door somewhere is going to be left unlocked. And I can either walk around to every single door like some paranoid dad and make sure that every door is locked, or I can let my system do it for me automatically. And the fact that these Z-Wave radios inside these locks connect with the IQ panel and allow that to happen so seamlessly and so easily is super impressive for all my friends. I get to brag about it all the time. I love it. So
hey, you're a great spokesperson for Yale, Jeremy. I can't thank you enough. You really but you summarized some great features and functionality of our product beautifully there. The only thing different between your home and mine is that Grandma and Grandpa are Mima and Poppy and not whatever you said.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's got their own names for it, right? Yeah.
That's right.
Absolutely.
But no, it's neat stuff, and I'll tell you, the scheduling that you mentioned that is provided by Alarm.com as well in conjunction with our products really does create a very unique environment and one that works very well.
We have a couple.
What I've found too is that it's almost. Oh yeah, go ahead, Whit. Go.
Okay, so Frank asks, the deadbolt showed on your front door, Jeremy, that image that there wasn't a keyway.
Yeah.
Malfunctions. How do you get a keyway?
Good question. So there is on the bottom. So Yale has locks, of course, that have keys.
Sure.
I personally don't prefer not to have them. But on the bottom, there's a little jumper on it so that if the battery dies on it, you take a little 9-volt battery and stick it on the bottom, and it gives it enough power that you could then, do the code. The other thing I say is, with the exception of an apartment or, a house that only has one door, there's always another way to get inside the house. You know, for me, if for some reason my lock didn't work, which it always works, but if for some reason it didn't work, then I can use my app on my phone and open my garage door. Or I can go to the back door, which also has a lock on it, and use my app on my phone and unlock that door, or use the code to get in. So providing myself with multiple ways of accessing it, without keys, you know, completely key-free, has given me a little bit of peace of mind that I can always get in my home whenever I need to and not have to worry about it. And because they're battery-related, if the power's out, there's no problem with being able to get in and out of it, because the batteries will always work. And I get notifications if my batteries get low, both on my panel and on my phone, so that I can replace those batteries in time to make sure that I never have a lapse in service. So, Patrick, did I cover that well enough? Is there anything to add on that?
Hey, there again, you nailed it. I would add one small point. So, again, as I said earlier, what we have found is that, you know, electronic locks really do change people's behavior. And in the event you did come home and let's say the batteries were dead because you failed to, you know, respond to the supervisory signal, we have found that it's a lot less painful to go to the, you know, the local drugstore and buy a 9-volt battery to energize that lock and come through it than it is to call a locksmith at 10 o'clock at night, which is what you're going to have to do, because when you reach for those keys in your pocket that you thought you would hang on to or keep on that keychain, you're going to find they're long gone because you've been taking full advantage of what that lock brings to you and the convenience it brings. You know, the thought of having to carry an extra set of keys or keys in your pocket is really starting to go to the wayside.
Yep, it really is. And the fact that I get notifications when that lock is unlocked by anyone other than me gives me the peace of mind that if someone were to have a problem, if someone were to get in or out or whatever, at whatever time of day, I know about it. So I love it. You know, I've noticed that too with locks is that Z-Wave locks seem to almost be like the gateway into other automation. You get a lot of systems, a lot of dealers who will, at least this is the feedback I've gotten from other dealers, and for those of you on the call today who aren't doing this, they'll find that if once they install that first lock, it's almost like the customer starts going, ooh, this is fun. What else can I do? It also increases system usage. My wife is a great example of this. She never used our system, never armed it, never disarmed it. The moment we put a lock on the door, she got so comfortable entering her code into the door that she automatically felt comfortable using her code on the system as well and started using the system all the time. So it was very interesting that the locks almost led into, you know, other behaviors that led to more purchases, and that now we've got thermostat, we've got more locks on the doors, we've got the garage door like I mentioned, we've got lights throughout the house. You know, it's like the gateway drug for smart home addiction.
Well,
so
and it's a very natural process, to your point. You know, we enter and exit our homes multiple times a day, right? So to have something there that's replacing an existing device, i.e. your deadbolt, is a very natural process, right? Because you enter and exit that door every day, and as you mentioned, you know, in my home, we probably arm and disarm our system, I would guess, anywhere between 30 and 40 times a week, at least, because whenever we exit or enter the home, in essence, we're locking or unlocking that door, which is leading to the arming of the system, the disarming, or other home automation features and functionality.
More
excellent.
questions?
Whitney, any other questions? Yeah, please.
Yeah. Are the batteries stored in the keypad itself, and how long do they last?
Hey, I'll be happy to tackle that one. Great question. So,
yeah, go for it.
You bet. So there's 4 AA alkaline batteries that are on the interior of the door. As Jeremy mentioned, of course, that power supply is being supervised. In nominal conditions, which mean the door is properly aligned, right, and the deadbolt isn't having to work overtime, you should get 10 to 12 latch throws per day on average for up to a year. So battery life we know is very, very important, and if installed properly, and some of these things are taken into consideration, you should get 10 to 12 months, no problem, with 10 to 12 latch throws per day.
Yep. So this is exactly the lock I have on my door. You can see there's a little screw right there. That little Phillips screw holds this plastic back plate in place, and when I unscrew that and lift that off, I have access to change the batteries out, no problem. So, great question.
To that,
what else, Whitney?
If you do the auto lock feature, how does it know that the door is closed so that the bolt doesn't hit the frame?
Good question. Very good question. So there is actually what's called a jam detection type of thing. I mean, what happens is if the lock jams and isn't able to fully lock, then it sends an alert to the panel, and you can create a notification on alarm.com to let you know that. And that does naturally happen. In fact, the other day it rained at our house, and suddenly the lock got really hard to close. Now, Yale's done a really good job with this. Not only have they tapered the deadbolt a little bit to make it so a little more forgiving in there, but also the hole that the deadbolt bolt goes into inside your door frame is actually larger than a standard hole too. So it's a little bit more forgiving for that exact reason. But that does happen from time to time, especially if you've got a door that expands and contracts a lot with weather, or if you've got someone who maybe didn't close the door all the way, things like that. But again, you can be notified of it, so you can take the appropriate action, whether that's driving home or calling a neighbor, hey, can you go close my door for me, whatever it is. The other thing I've found is nice is you should always have a security sensor on that door, a door window sensor of some sort, whether that's a recessed or one of our mini sensors up in the corner. That way, before you decide to throw that lock, you can always look on your on your app and see, is my door actually closed? And if it's not, then obviously you don't want to send that lock command. So great questions. Other questions, Whitney?
Yes. Z-Wave lock sets for sliding doors in the works?
Hey, so we've got
I doubt it, but
that's a good one though. We've got a vast drawing board of things that we're always taking into consideration. So what I would tell you is we certainly don't have a release date for any product like that at this point in time, but it is something we certainly have talked about and we've addressed. There's a lot of different types of sliding glass doors out there, so it is a challenging task, but it's one we've certainly taken into consideration and we're taking deeper dives into for certain. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I could see that be a real challenge just because you'd almost have to take the door apart in order to do it, or offer a special door of some sort. Maybe a partnership with some kind of door company to make them. And yeah, it's a big challenge, or getting sliding door manufacturers to install a special Yale Z-Wave, device in there or something like that. So very interesting. Great question. Very great question. Other ones, Whitney?
Yes, we're getting a ton.
Oh boy.
Oh, good.
We're popular today.
I know, it's great.
We are. That's great.
Why not use lithium batteries for longer life?
Gosh, I love these questions. So here's the thing.
Can I answer that? I think I know the answer to that.
Come on. All right, fine.
All right, you can take it. You can take it. You can take it.
All right. So this is kind of an easy one. So it's not to suggest that a lithium battery wouldn't work. However, we find that alkaline batteries, as many of you know, as they die slowly. We want to give you plenty of opportunity to receive that supervisory signal that suggests, hey, these batteries are growing weak or these batteries are dying. Let's go ahead and replace them. With a lithium battery or a rechargeable battery, when they die very, very quickly. So that window of opportunity or receiving that supervisory condition could be a very narrow window. It's not to suggest they wouldn't work, but for those reasons, we really recommend alkaline, and let's face it, alkaline is very affordable as well.
Yep, and I found myself probably keep changing my batteries on my lock every 6 months or so. So it's not awful. I just go to Costco and get the cheap Kirkland batteries, and it works great. If you look on the IQ panel itself, if you're in the lock section, you'll see the battery is at 90%. With a lithium-ion battery, it will show 90% until the day that it dies. And then the day that it dies, it'll go from 90 to 0. And so you get almost no notice, just like Patrick was saying. You don't want to have one of those times where it's like, oh, by the way, your batteries need changing 5 minutes ago. It's like, oh, crap, what do I do?
That's exactly
so
right.
having those alkaline batteries, even though you have to change them, every 6 months as opposed to, every year or longer, it does give you a little bit more notice. And I found at times I'll get a low battery signal literally for a week prior to actually needing to changing them. So
there you go.
What else, Whitney?
Let's see. What type of authentication does the app use to recognize individual lock systems?
Ooh, good question. I guess I'm curious to know what kind of, from an authentication standpoint, I know that there's something.
Yep.
Like Carmen, I almost wish we had our technical person on the line today from alarm.com to answer that, but I don't know the exact answer to it. I know that there's some kind of authentication that occurs similar to the way Z-Wave Plus works with the Z-Wave lock to make sure that it is a secure signal back and forth, but I could not tell you what kind of authentication it actually is. It's a great question, though.
So it is, and I'll give you a little bit of additional color there. I don't know that I'll be answering the question as well as you'd like, but I will tell you this. So all of our locks have what we call, of course, 128 AES bit encryption, so very, very secure. But they also have their unique identifier as well. So as some of you may have found over time, you can't enroll a lock with two systems. It's one lock per system, so you never have to worry about a lock being enrolled with more than one system, which of course makes it very, very secure as well. And with that 128 AES bit encryption, frankly, that's what banks are using these days, of course, right, to provide security to their users and customers. So they're very, very secure, and they have their own unique identifier.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, Whitney, any others?
Yeah, Trey asks, are there any products in the pipeline with a camera?
Oh, there's
Like
another
a
good
lock
one.
with a camera?
There's another good one for the whiteboard. So
yeah. Make sure she's coming to ESX to see the peephole thing.
That's right. And we do discuss that, and I think that possibility always exists. What you'll find with a lot of these features and things you're mentioning, it comes back to power and battery drain. And as you can imagine, the more functionality and features you would add to, let's say, a lock, the more time you have to spend making sure you're balancing that with power consumption. So love the idea, and maybe one that we would have somewhere down the road. Like I said, we've discussed it, but right now it's balancing some of that thing with power consumption and what people are really after.
Yep.
Perfect. Frank asks, we're coming to the end here. Frank asks, the lock auto locks after 30 seconds, but if the door is left open for longer than 30 seconds and now the bolt is sticking out before the door is closed, is there any alerts or anything like that? Does the lock know that it's...
Frank, great question, Frank. That's exactly why I don't use the auto lock function. I use the auto lock function tied into behaviors like arming my system, but I don't use the auto lock function on there because so often we have the door open longer than that. A door-to-door salesman walks up and knocks on the door. I've got that door open for 2-3 minutes, however long it takes me to tell them to either come inside or go away. If a kid comes over to say hello and drop off a plate of cookies, sometimes I want to sit down on the porch and eat them with them. And if that auto lock occurs, then it just doesn't work for me in my situation. Now, it might for other people. I know Jenny always used the auto lock on her doors because she just wants that door to automatically lock. But more than once, she walked up to the door, she's like, oh, crap, it's locked again. I've forgotten I have to type in the code.
I use the auto lock feature, and I do that.
You do? Oh, yeah. So there you go. So to each their own. And I think it's, and again, to what Patrick was saying earlier, it's coming down to your behavior. It's changing the behavior of what you're doing. If you're willing to change your behavior to accommodate the auto lock, then it's going to work great. If not, then you turn the auto lock off, and then you have it automatically lock in conjunction with some kind of thing like when the door closes, lock the door. Or when the system is armed in stay or away mode, lock the door, things like that.
Okay,
great questions, everyone. Really great questions.
One.
Oh, yeah, please.
Okay. Can this lock system interface with other access control systems, mag locks, or wired power sources?
Good question, and while it probably could, I don't think it could, but the whole ecosystem that we're talking about today with the IQ panel and Alarm.com isn't really compatible with those type of things. And this is really a commercial style deadbolt. Now, that's a great segue into our next product, which is the NEXTOUCH lever. And Patrick, I understand you guys also won the ESX Innovation Award for the NEXTOUCH lever, so congratulations for that. You'll be showing that here at ESX this week.
Thanks so much. We're very proud of that.
So tell me how the next, and briefly, because we're kind of going over time here, but briefly tell me what is the difference between the NEXTOUCH lever and like the standard, like the B1L, T1L, one of the other Z-Wave locks you offer for residential?
Sure. So this is a commercial grade 1 Z-Wave lever. So what does that mean? So one, it's certainly more robust. It's got a 3-hour UL fire rating, which is critical for commercial. The push button version of this, and let me say this, we've got capacitive touchscreen or push button, but the push button version of this is also ADA compliant, which is very important in a commercial environment or setting. It's more robust in that you can have up to 500 user codes versus anywhere from to 250 in our residential product. And just in looking at it, you can see that the overall construction of it is certainly much beefier. So we look at this and we say, hey, for that small business where they've got maybe a warehouse store, a rear entry, a server room, a supply room, a finance office, that kind of thing, great application that will allow you remote service capabilities, right? You can issue out user codes versus having to manage keys. This too, though, because it's in a commercial environment, still does have a key override should you want that, and it also has that 9-volt battery backup available so that if you do have an employee coming in the morning and they can't get through the door because the batteries have failed, they again have the ability to touch that receptacle or that jumper with a 9-volt battery, enter the code, and gain entry to the facility. So at a high level, those are some of the unique differences with the lever.
Excellent. I appreciate that. Well, we want to ask a poll question real quick here, and you've probably seen it on your screen already. are you currently installing Yale locks right now? And the options, of course, are yes, you are, no, you're not, or maybe you're evaluating that option. Now, Patrick, correct me if I'm wrong, but eDist, who's kind of the sponsor of our webinar today, they are just barely starting the Yale lineup, right?
That's exactly right. So they're stocking as we speak, and they've placed a very nice stocking order. So, tremendous partners. I know they will support us fully. We'll certainly support them. We're excited to have our product with eDist. The NEXTOUCH lever, although it's releasing now, you probably won't see on the shelves there, for another 4 weeks or so. So there's a little time yet until you'll see that commercial grade lever show up at eDist. But yes, we are afoot in a partnership with eDist, and we're very excited.
That's great. And that NEXTOUCH lever launches this month, you said, so we'll be watching for that later on. And that's perfect also because it has a Z-Wave radio in it. It's perfect for those situations where you want to do something more commercial. You could use the IQ panel in your hair salon, your barber shops, your coffee shops, things like that. And if you want a commercial grade lever, then obviously this will still work and still pair with the IQ panel just fine. It looks like we got a significant percentage that are evaluating whether they want to use Yale or not. So we'll have Patrick reach out to you guys after the webinar and answer any questions you've got and make sure that you're feeling comfortable with the decision you're about to make. And for those of you that are using Yale, I'm sure that you like me enjoy every bit of it. So Patrick, thanks so much for all the questions. And if another one crops up, we'll be sure to ping you back.
We got two more.
Thanks for all the input. Oh, here we go. So if you're still on deck, go for it.
Does Alarm.com provide an audit trail for what code is entered into which lock?
Great question. Very great question. So from Alarm.com's perspective, you create users. So every time I create a user, that user is assigned unique code, but it's also assigned a name. So if I give Whitney a code to my house, and I have a code, and my wife has a code, and Patrick has a code, and Spencer has a code, and Carmen has a code, anytime anyone uses their code, I can get a text message that says, Carmen unlocked the door at 3 p.m. And I can see that. If I can also tie in other rules that say, hey, when Carmen unlocks the door, start this video camera, and because I want to see, the video of Carmen walking into the room. I can see those kind of things. I can set a rule that says, if Patrick, opens the door, then send me a text message. And let me know right away so that I can see that Patrick's come over. And I get a little text message that says, door was unlocked by Patrick at 5:02 p.m. So yes, absolutely, you can know who's using it and who's not, all through the wonderful magic of Alarm.com. Great question.
Last one.
Whitney, what else?
Can the user codes be pushed from the Alarm.com app and/or the panel?
Yeah, so you would create the user codes either on the panel or on the Alarm.com portal by logging into your Alarm.com account. I don't believe you can create user codes on the app, but correct me if I'm wrong, Carmen. Can you create them on the app itself?
Nope, not at this time. It's in the website. So in the consumer website, you create all your user codes, and they would push through.
Now, you can do on Alarm.com and with the IQ panel, you can do up to 142 user codes. I don't think a Yale lock will support up to 142, not like you'd ever actually have 142. How many does it actually support in its memory, Patrick?
Sure. So the B1L and T1L, which are the key-free products, support 100 user codes. Our keyed product, up to 250 user codes. And, of course, our NEXTOUCH lever, 500 user codes. To your point, Jeremy, the likelihood of something using that many, right, is almost overwhelming to even think about. But they're there.
But they're there. Yep. So excessiveness in all its glory. That's excellent. All right. Well, let's move on a little bit here. We got lots and lots to cover. Spencer, I want to turn a little bit of time over to you. Rapid Response has been a fantastic partner with Qolsys here for a while, and we've got a really amazing offer that we want to make sure we tell everyone all about. But just to kind of start, I want you to clear up something for me. I hear people calling them central stations, and I call people monitoring stations. Is there a difference? Is it just terminology, or is there an actual difference between there?
Oh, it's really just terminology, Jeremy. You find a lot of people in the industry will use the two terms interchangeably. Typically, we would prefer to be called a monitoring station because there's a lot of things that we're monitoring outside of your traditional alarm traffic, whether that's GPS that's coming in, whether that's some new software applications that are mobile that are out there for all sorts of different monitoring. It could be health related, it could be safety related. But it's a lot different than what I think a lot of users out there think of when they think of central station and kind of the old terminology that goes along with that.
But I would imagine that having such a wide variety of services that you provide makes it a little bit of a challenge to find the right people to work with you.
It does. It does. It's important here at Rapid for us to make sure that we're getting the highest quality people. And, you know, it takes us about 100 applicants to come in to get 3 people hired. You know,
wow.
So 3% of them.
Are you serious?
3%. Yeah, I'm serious. So our HR folks and our recruiting folks have their work cut out for them. But we believe that's one of the major keys to being able to provide the highest level of service that our dealers and their subscribers demand and expect. So we're out there looking for...
I know one thing that impressed me was the EMT, EMD certification for life safety monitoring operators. I was curious about that. So what would you consider a life safety monitoring operator? Is that a special branch of monitoring, or is that anyone that has a key fob or what do you call that, the wrist pendant or medical pendant on their system, or what qualifies for that?
Sure. So our life safety monitoring folks are the folks that are trained specifically to monitor medical devices. So whether that's attached through a typical system that may be out there and have one of those, or it's a standalone PERS device, those are the folks that are going to be handling those incoming alarms and signals. And we have a team of folks here that are actually EMTs and certified EMD, which is emergency dispatcher. They're certified EMD trainers. And so they train our life safety folks on becoming emergency dispatchers, which gives them a higher level of training that helps them deal with those life-threatening medical situations that somebody that's using one of those devices may encounter.
Interesting. I always liked how you were talking about the cognitive ability testing. You know, as we were prepping for the webinar, you were talking about this intensive 6-week training that your team goes through in order to do this. 3 weeks of classroom training and then 3 weeks of critical event or adverse situational training. Tell us about the adverse situational training. I thought that was really interesting.
Sure. So we do monthly evaluations of each and every operator with our QA team, and this allows us to find some challenging real-world situations that we can then use in training. So we take those extremely difficult situations from the real-life calls and put our trainees in these situations while they're in the safety of the classroom. And this will help prepare them for anything that can and will arise when they're actually taking real alarms and real calls. So whether it's a situation where there's a language barrier, or perhaps you're dealing with someone that's having a hard time hearing you, or maybe you're receiving unintelligible responses from the other end of the line, and you've got to make critical decisions about how to respond. These are some of the type of scenarios that we'll put forth in the training environment, so that way it's a little bit more comfortable for the trainees to learn how to deal with some of these challenging scenarios.
And that way the first time that they have one of those calls isn't, you know, it's not the first time they've handled that situation. They've gotten to handle it in a safe environment where they're able to get some coaching and get some advice and practice it a few times too. That's great. That's
exactly.
Really great.
And they're doing it in front of their peers as well in that setting. So it's helpful for all of them.
Yeah. Now you guys are also you've got a number of tools that you provide to both end users and dealers that kind of cover that you know, Alarm.com's got such a wide breadth of the services they provide, but there's kind of that one side of things that you know, that isn't connected there, and that's where Rapid Response makes up the difference. Things like you know, updating your emergency contacts, canceling a false alarm, things like that. That's all within the app that you guys have created, right?
Sure, yeah. So if you see on the left-hand side of the screen, you see Rapid Web, Rapid Link, everything with Rapid in the name. These are the applications that we have for mobile and web that are designed for the dealer. And all these allow the dealer to perform the interactions that they might normally have over the phone or via email with the monitoring station, and they can do it real time on their own, whether they're at a facility or they're sitting, you know, at their desk in the office. They can put accounts on and off test. They can view signal history. They can listen to calls that have come into the monitoring station real time on their mobile app if they need to.
They could listen to calls even? That's impressive.
Yeah, it's probably the most favored part of the application. We have dealers rave about it all the time. You know, imagine it's the middle of the night and one of their customers has some sort of situation that they're looking to get resolution on. the dealer can immediately listen to the calls that were related to the situation and be able to provide, any sort of feedback or know exactly what happened in case they need to get out there and fix something on site. So the dealers really love that feature.
Yeah, I bet. Talk about real-time data. I mean, I when I worked for a dealer years ago, it was like pulling teeth in order to get call recordings. Whitney, you worked in the customer service department. You actually pulled some of those call recordings for me back in the day and sent them over to me. But even there, it was a challenge to get them and then get them over to me. And then I had to have a special program in it to open up and listen to them and things like that. To be able to just have it and pull it up on your phone and listen to it, minutes after it occurred is pretty sweet. So very nice. And then there's also the end user side of things. The end users would log into this mysecurityaccount.com or whatever it is and have access to various things.
That's correct. Yeah, they can view history there. They can, if they have video on their accounts, they can look at the video clips that have come through related to monitoring or related to an event that has happened at the home or the business. They can cancel, a dispatch. They can call the monitoring station from the app. It really provides a lot of things that makes the customer's life easier. They can view history. The nice thing about the customer end is the dealer gets to choose how much access they give their customers. So while we design the app to provide maximum access, each dealer can individually choose how much they would like their end users or subscribers to be able to view or interact with.
Interesting. I think probably for me the biggest value was the concept of being able to update your emergency contacts without having to worry about calling in. I would, correct me if I'm wrong, but having accurate emergency contacts is probably one of the bigger challenges, as being a monitoring station. You call through that phone number and it's like, well, that one's disconnected, that's the wrong person, that person is, they're divorced now, whatever it is. Having the end user be able to go in and make sure that information's updated on a regular basis themselves probably saves a little bit of nightmare for the dealer and for you guys, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're imagining that correctly. It's an emergent situation, and we're trying to reach the responsible parties as soon as possible. And one of the things that can get in the way is having contact information that's incorrect. And you can imagine when you're on the other end of that phone, you want to be notified as soon as possible and not be third or fourth on the list behind people that shouldn't be notified any longer. And so having that availability for yourself and then for the dealer to be able to, not have to take those inbound calls from the customer for changes, is very helpful.
Now, you guys have done a lot with your technology, and we're kind of running thin on time here, but you've done a lot with your technology in terms of being able to, improve the certifications, the power, the communication, things like that. And you've got these two beautiful campuses, Rapid East and Rapid West, and you invite anyone to come see all of that and experience it, right? I mean, to come over and take a tour of the building and see exactly what you guys are doing and how you're doing it.
Yeah, we certainly do. Both of our facilities are UL and FM listed, and we're located in Syracuse and New York and Corona, California. And we love to have dealers or prospective dealers come visit us and take a tour of the central station. We're open to doing that at any time. That's
great. Well, as you know, guys, as part of the the offer at eDist this month, excuse me, Rapid Response is very generously given a free year of monitoring. So if you buy the Qolsys IQ Security Kit from eDist, you'll get this little certificate that they'll fill out right there at the counter for you. You'll finish out filling it out, and then you fax it into Rapid Response, and you'll get a free year of monitoring and it's not the last year. It's your first year of monitoring for free. And then you'll get 2 more at the regular rate. So really generous, and Spencer, I can't thank you enough for doing this for all the people on the webinar today. I think
have a question.
I think it's going to be really beneficial to them. Yeah. Well, look, before we answer that question, Whitney, would you mind launching the poll question? I want to know, are people currently using Rapid? And while people are answering that, we can go through the questions you're addressing.
Perfect. So question: can the dealer see the same video as the client?
The answer is yes. Yep, they can do that through the application as well, or online through the web portal.
Perfect. And then we have a comment from Frank. He said Rapid Response's app is second to none. He seems to really enjoy your app.
Thank you, Frank.
There you go. We love that kind of stuff. Remember, Frank, send your check to Spencer at. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so guys, I hope that this has been really beneficial. I want to go through very quickly just some information about the IQ panel. thank you very much for filling out our poll as well. We can go ahead and close that. And Spencer, thank you for all your comments about Rapid, and again, for your generosity in giving that free year of service for people when they purchase the IQ panel this month. 7-inch touchscreens are now the standard, everyone, and I think we know that. I think we'd be hard-pressed to find, a company that's not offering some sort of 7-inch touchscreen, who's not trying to compete in this space and create something that that really makes a difference in their customers' lives and brings them to a point where they feel like they're using technology that is current technology. We've heard us, if you've been on our webinars before, you've heard us harp on, rubber button keypads and the fact that, people just aren't satisfied with rubber button keypads in their homes anymore. It's not that these aren't reliable systems, it's just that the impression of that technology after having years and years and years of having smartphones and tablets in our pockets and in our purses, we just really, we really want to make sure that people are feeling like they've got the kind of system that they deserve. The IQ panel that's in market today that is built around the special that we're talking about today is a 7-inch all-in-one security and smart home system. It's got a built-in panel camera. All the wireless radios are all built in. A lot of people ask us what the difference is between us and some of the other guys. It used to be 7-inch touchscreen was the difference, and that's really become kind of an equalizer now. The integrated panel camera, however, still is one of the main differences. There's only one other product out there that's coming soon that has a panel camera, but currently in market, we are still the only one with a panel camera. And the great thing about this panel camera is not only can you see who disarms from your panel, but you can get a text message. You should see the text message I got this morning when Whitney came into the office and disarmed the panel. I'm sure that if I had a way of showing it to you guys, in fact, I might have a way of showing it to you guys.
Please don't. Please don't.
That might be, I don't know if it'll pull it up. Okay. Well, it's pretty funny. She likes to make faces at me when I'm out of town, and so I get to see these lovely faces. I believe this one, there were eyes crossed and tongue sticking out. So a lot of fun. But it's kind of that nice peace of mind of knowing that I know who's there. I know she's in a good mood. I know everything's fine. She's not under duress if she's crossing her eyes and sticking her tongue out at me. Everything's fine and everything's good. And you can have that same peace of mind in your own home too. Dual path connectivity is a really important one. Simultaneous Wi-Fi and cellular connectivity in and out of the home makes your alarm.com signals super fast, makes your commands in and out of the panel super fast, and gives you a lot of flexibility in terms of where you can install that panel, because you don't have to only rely on a lower cellular signal. You can literally put it anywhere you can get a good strong Wi-Fi signal, and the Wi-Fi and cellular will work together. Software updates is a really big one too, and again, surprises me that after having this panel out for two or more years, that we're still one of the only ones doing robust software updates on an Android operating system. So we continually are trying to push the capabilities of this hardware, trying to find ways of improving the user experience, and we push those out through regular automatic updates. In fact, our next update, 161, is coming out in just a couple weeks, so very excited about that. We've worked very hard with Alarm.com to reduce the amount of truck rolls required by you. I always tell people only roll a truck if you have to. The ability to do all of your actions, all of your settings, things like that, all through the web, through Alarm.com's AirFX tool is priceless, and it really helps a lot to be able to be successful. We've actually got entire customers that don't own a single truck and have never done an in-home installation and have never actually rolled a truck for service at all. I'm not saying that rolling trucks is a bad thing. There's a lot of value to having some face-to-face, and if you guys choose to do that, that's great. But I and the rest of the Qolsys believe that you should roll a truck because you choose to, not because you have to. So we really work hard to build the panel in such a way that allows you to do that. And then because of that access, this panel really does become DIY ready. So you'll be able to access your system remotely, and your customers don't have to worry about having someone come to their home and waiting for an in-home installation or consultation. We've got help videos built on the panel, custom text-to-speech, so you can create custom names like, Sarah's bedroom window, and the panel will speak it, it'll text it to your phone, things like that. So it's really, really fun. All the radios are built into it. There's a Wi-Fi radio, cellular radio, security RF, Z-Wave, and an image sensor radio. They're all in there. There's an SD card slot, a lithium-ion battery, a siren, dual speakers, and a microphone. So everything's all packed into a single device. And and it really makes it easy to use the system, to not have to worry about installing all those things in. I talked about the software updates, and we've been continually pushing out new updates throughout the passage time. And the consistent experience we've worked on with Alarm.com makes it easier for your customers to use it. So instead of having to walk up to the panel and going, oh, which button was it to arm again? They recognize that the same button that they pressed on their phone, the same button they used on their watch, the same button they use on their computer or on their panel or on their secondary tablet, it's all the same color, it's all the same icons, it's a consistent experience across the board, and it makes using it easier, it makes it using it faster. So we, of course, have panel types for everyone, Verizon, AT&T, Rogers, and Telefonica. And then for those that are using DSC products, there's also a DSC Touch version of this, which uses a 433 radio. The best kit in the market. The security kit is the one that's on promo right now. As you know, eDist is selling this kit right now for $449. Excuse me, $349. $349. So really great bargain. That $349 price gets you the panel, the motion, 4 mini door window sensors, the doorbell sensor, and a tilt. And for a limited time, again through the end of June, when you buy that kit, we will also throw in a free light bulb. So now you get a smart light bulb. Yale's generously giving you $15 off of one of their Z-Wave locks, and then Rapid Response gives you a free year of monitoring. So it's really an incredible, incredible offer, and there's really no reason why you shouldn't be going out to eDist this afternoon and making a purchase of this security kit. Buy lots of them. We'll continue to make them and put them on those shelves for you. If you want to stock up now, because by the time June is over, you might not be able to install them all, but you want to keep them on your shelves for next month and the month after, things like that. Rapid will honor the free year for any panels purchased in the month of June. So if you purchase the rest of your year's supply today, then you'll have you'll get the light bulb, you get the $15 off the Yale lock, the Rapid Response free year of monitoring, all with that. So it's we're really excited about this special and really appreciative of our partners, both Yale and Rapid, for donating these for this special this month. We don't have time to go through our sales tools. We've got other webinars online that we can share them with you, and you can look at them there, or we'll do them on a future webinar as well. But we hope if you're going to come to ESX, in fact, let's launch that poll, Whitney. I'd like to know if you're coming to ESX, and if you are, we'd love to meet you. Come by our room. We're in room 200. We're also down in the Tyco booth, and I believe it's 130 or 135. Yale, you guys, what's your booth number? Do you guys know? I know Alarm.com has got a meeting. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying, great question. I don't offhand, but I'll be happy to forward that to you.
Yeah. Well, those that are coming to ESX, it's easy to find. We'll look it up for you too if you need. And then Rapid, you guys are in. Is it 814? I think it.
Yeah, 814. That's right.
Yeah. So we hope you guys will come see us and come have a chance to play with this stuff and get firsthand experience on what we're doing. Again, thank you everyone for being able to, for sitting through. We hope we've been able to answer all your questions. If you'd like to stay on the line and type out your questions and get answers to them, Whitney will stay on for just a few more minutes. Carmen, Patrick, Spencer, thank you so much for all your stuff you've done today. I think it's been a lot of fun.
My pleasure.
I think I'm starting to feel like our webinars are not long enough because it feels like we can never get through them in an hour. There's just so many questions from our audience and so many things that people want to know and so many scenarios we want to share. I feel bad making them longer, but maybe you guys are just super interesting people and that's why they keep talking. So thank you again for all your participation, and can't wait to see all of you guys. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
You.